The sun was bright over the peaceful alien world of Velar Prime. Birds sang in the blue skies. Tall crystal buildings sparkled in the light. Humans had come here many years ago, making friends with the Velari people. Trade was good. Talks were easy. Trust was strong. Today was supposed to be a celebration. A group of humans, including families and children, had traveled across the stars to attend the Festival of Harmony. It was a day of music, games, and sharing between species. It was a day meant for peace. In the middle of the great shining plaza, a small human child named Lily played with a group of Velari children. She laughed, running after a colorful ball that bounced across the marble floor. Around them, adults watched with smiles. There was no danger here. No fear. Or so they thought. Out of the shadows, a Velari soldier moved. His name was Torvak. His eyes were filled with anger, hate, and something worse, fear of humanity's growing power. He hated humans for how fast they had risen, how easily they adapted, how warmly the galaxy welcomed them. In his mind, humans were invaders, not friends. He acted without warning. In a single motion, Torvak pulled out a sharp, glowing blade, a weapon forbidden inside the city. He rushed forward. Before anyone could react, he struck. The blade slashed across the air and caught little Lily across the side. She screamed, a sound so sharp, so full of pain, that it cut through the laughter like thunder. Blood stained her white festival dress. For one frozen moment, no one moved. The Velari children stared. The human parents stood in shock. Even Torvak seemed stunned at what he had done. Then everything exploded into chaos. Human security forces ran toward Lily. They grabbed Torvak, slamming him to the ground. Velari peacekeepers shouted, trying to calm the crowds. People screamed. Children cried. The celebration shattered into a nightmare. Medics rushed Lily away, but her blood marked the ground. A dark, terrible stain against the white plaza. The news traveled faster than light. By the time the Earth Council heard of it, the video of the attack had already been seen by billions. Lily's scream, her fall, the blood. It played again and again on every screen. Across Earth, anger rose like a storm. The President of Earth stood before the United Planets Assembly. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were cold. "We sent our children in trust," she said. "One was attacked. One was harmed. This will not be forgotten. This will not be forgiven." The Velari leadership sent apologies. They called the attack an isolated act of madness. They promised justice. They promised peace. But it was too late. In the secret war rooms under Earth's surface, the generals already spoke one word: retaliation. The humans remembered. They remembered every war, every betrayal, every hurt their species had suffered since leaving Earth. They had promised themselves, long ago, that they would never again be weak, never again be victims. A child had been harmed. Now humanity would answer. The Velari watched their screens in horror as human fleets prepared for departure. But these were not the bright white ships of diplomacy and trade. These ships were black, heavy, armed for war. The Velari ambassadors pleaded for talks. They sent gifts. They promised to punish Torvak, to make things right. But humanity sent no reply. Across the galaxy, other species watched. Some pitied the Velari. Most were afraid. They had seen what humans could do when they fought for survival. They had never seen what humans would do when they fought for vengeance. Now they would. On Velar Prime, in the secret chambers of their High Council, panic grew. "Surely they will accept our apology," one counselor cried. "No," said another, her voice trembling. "You do not understand humans. They are peaceful, until you harm what they love. Then they are unstoppable." Above Velar Prime, the first human ships arrived, cloaked and silent, invisible to most scanners. Watching, waiting, not for negotiation, not for peace, but for the moment to strike. Far from Velar Prime, Lily lay in a healing chamber. Machines worked to fix her small, broken body. Her parents held her hands, tears running down their faces. Around them, soldiers in black armor stood guard. One of the soldiers bent down and whispered to Lily, though she could barely hear. "Don't worry, little one," he said. "They hurt you. They will never hurt anyone again." Outside the hospital, banners hung from every building. One message, simple and clear, stretched across the stars. "You touched one of ours. Now you will see what we are capable of." And somewhere, deep in space, humanity's war engines roared to life. The galaxy would never be the same. The sky above Earth was dark with heavy clouds. In the great meeting hall of the Earth Council, leaders from every nation sat in silence. The giant screen showed images of Lily, smiling before the attack, and broken after it. No one spoke. No one needed to. The treaty between Earth and Velar Prime had been strong. Years of friendship, years of trust. But now that treaty lay broken, shattered like glass under a hammer. The president of Earth stood up. Her voice was low but steady. "The Velari have failed to protect our young. They have failed their promises. There will be no forgiveness." Across the galaxy, the Velari government sent desperate messages. They begged for talks. They claimed it was a mistake, the action of one mad soldier. They offered gifts, gold, technology, trade deals, even rare artifacts. Humanity listened, and humanity said nothing. In secret, Earth's military command met underground. Generals, admirals, and intelligence officers planned a quiet war, a war that would send a message louder than any words. The operation had a simple name: Judgment. While Velari leaders spoke of peace, their outer colonies started to go silent. First, a small mining station lost contact. Then, a deep space research lab disappeared. Next, a Velari patrol ship vanished without a trace. At first, the Velari thought it was equipment failure, maybe pirates, maybe random accidents. They were wrong. Human stealth fleets had arrived. Their ships were black, absorbing all light, nearly invisible to sensors. Their weapons were silent. Laser cuts that sliced without sound, missiles that moved faster than thought. The Velari never saw the attacks coming. No warning, no chance to fight back. On Velar Prime, fear began to spread among the people. Rumors flew through the markets and streets. Whispers said that humans were coming, not with diplomats, but with warriors. Whispers said that Earth had unleashed its black fleets, the fleets built not for defense, but for pure destruction. The Velari High Council held emergency meetings. "They will understand," said Elder Macto. "We are sorry. We did not order this crime." But others knew better. "They are human," whispered General Sobel, an old Velari who had studied Earth's history. "They are kind, until you hurt what they love. And then they become something the stars themselves fear." The council sent more messages, more offers, more desperate cries into the void. Still, Earth said nothing. Still, the human ships moved closer. Meanwhile, in the shadows of space, humanity prepared their next move. The fleets were not here just to scare. They were here to make the Velari understand, truly understand, what it meant to harm a human child. The plan was simple: cut off the Velari's outer colonies, disable their defenses quietly, surround Velar Prime without firing a single shot. Yet, but this was only the beginning. If the Velari did not kneel, the real weapon would be revealed. A weapon powered by the fury of a sun. The humans called it Sunlancer. A machine so powerful, it could burn entire cities from orbit without touching the ground. A weapon never before used in war, built for one purpose only: to protect humanity by destroying any who dared to attack them. Back on Velar Prime, the people grew restless. Markets closed early. Schools shut down. Families packed supplies in secret. Ships lined up at starports, ready to flee, if they still could. But deep down, Everyone knew there would be no escape. The Velari government sent one last message to Earth, a message filled with tears, with shame, with desperate promises of change. It ended with the words, "Please, forgive us." The Earth Council received the message. The President watched it in silence. Then she looked at her generals and gave a simple command. Proceed. Above Velar Prime, the dark shapes of human ships grew larger. Still silent, still unseen by most. But now, their weapons were waking. Turrets unfolded. Shields glowed faintly. Power cores hummed with deadly energy. The Velari's greatest scanners finally detected the threat, but too late. Panic spread through the Velari High Command. Scrambling, they activated their defenses, their fleet, their planetary shields. None of it mattered. Humanity had planned for everything. They had studied Velari defenses for years, waiting, preparing, not for if trust failed, but for when it failed. And now, the time had come. In the dark of space, a single transmission left the lead human ship. It carried no threats, no offers of peace, only a cold final message. You broke the treaty. Now you will know what it means to break trust with humanity. The countdown began. The Sun Lancer moved into position. The galaxy held its breath. Judgment was coming. Space was quiet, too quiet. The Velari people looked up nervously at the stars. Something was wrong. Their scanners showed strange signals, faint, almost like whispers, near their home planet. But no alarms sounded. No ships appeared on the radar. It was as if something was watching them, but they could not see it. High above Velar Prime, hidden in the darkness of space, the human stealth fleet waited. Their ships were black and silent, designed to disappear into the void. No light bounced off them. No sound came from their engines. They were ghosts. For years, Earth had built these ships in secret. Ships that could slip past any defense. Ships that could destroy without warning. Now, the time had come to use them. Inside the command room of the lead human ship, Captain Rice stared at the screens. "We are in position," he said quietly. "Targets locked. Ready to strike on your command." The Earth Council's voice came through the speaker, calm but hard. "Wait for the order. We do not want to kill innocents, only the ones responsible." Captain Rice nodded. "They will see no warning. This is the punishment for harming a child." Back on Velar Prime, the Velari leaders tried to understand what was happening. "Why can we not detect them?" one scientist asked. "Our scanners show nothing." General Saville stood with a grim face. "They are using stealth technology, something we have never seen before. They are already here." Velari soldiers rushed to their posts, weapons charged, shields raised. But still, no enemy appeared. Then, without any warning, the first strike came. A silent beam of energy cut through the sky. It hit a power station on the planet's surface. No explosion, no noise, just darkness. The city lights flickered and went out. The Velari citizens screamed in confusion and fear. "How can this happen? Where is the attack coming from?" they cried. But there was no answer. The human ships were hidden, watching, waiting. One after another, power stations, communications towers, and defense systems on Velar Prime were disabled, all without a single shot fired. The Velari armies tried to respond. Their ships launched into space. Their lasers fired blindly at shadows, but the shadows vanished. Humanity's invisible warriors had destroyed Velari defenses silently and quickly. Captain Rice reported to Earth Council. "All key systems disabled," he said. "We have control of the battlefield, but have not fired a weapon at a living being." The Council responded, voice heavy with meaning. "This is only the beginning. Prepare the Sun Lancer." On Velar Prime, the High Council gathered again. Panic filled the room. "We are losing everything," said Elder Macto. "Our cities, our defenses, all gone." General Sauvel looked around. They have the power of stealth and surprise. They do not want war, yet. But if we don't act fast, they will destroy us. The Ilari ambassadors sent one last message to Earth. Let us meet. We will surrender. We beg for mercy. But the reply was silence. The sky above Velar Prime was dark and heavy. The once bright stars seemed dim, as if the whole galaxy waited for something terrible to happen. The Velari people were scared. Their cities were silent, their defenses broken. Hope was slipping away. In the heart of the capital, the Velari High Council met again. Their faces were pale and eyes full of worry. They knew something terrible was coming. But what could they do? Suddenly, all screens across Velar Prime flickered. A single message appeared. A voice, deep and calm, echoed from the skies. A voice the Velari would never forget. You harmed our child. Now, you will pay. The voice was cold. It held no anger, only promise. It was the voice of humanity. On Earth, the president watched the message go live across every world. She knew this was the final chance to stop the war, but she also knew that forgiveness was impossible. The Velari begged for mercy. They sent diplomats and gifts. They promised to punish those responsible for the attack on Lily. They promised peace, but humanity had made its choice. The president gave the order. Prepare the Sun Lancer. Fire when ready. The Sun Lancer was no ordinary weapon. It was a machine of incredible power, built in secret deep beneath Earth's surface. It could harness the energy of the sun itself and turn it into a weapon. With a single blast, it could burn cities to ash without touching the ground. On Velar Prime, the people watched the skies, fear growing with every minute. The glowing dot of the Sun Lancer's beam appeared high above them, charged and ready to fire. The Velari sent one last plea. We surrender. We beg for peace. But humanity was silent. Instead, the Sun Lancer fired its first beam. A pillar of burning light shot down from space. It hit the Velari's main power grid. The city below exploded in a burst of fire and smoke. Streets cracked open. Buildings crumbled. The skies turned red with fire. But the humans did not stop. One by one, the Sun Lancer fired on Velari military bases, communication towers, and government buildings. All were destroyed. The Velari could no longer fight back. Yet, humanity did not attack civilians. In fact, hospitals and homes were left untouched. The message was clear. Humanity was not monsters. But they would not forgive those who harmed their child. The Velari High Council was broken. Elder Macdo wept openly. This was not the way, he said. We should have protected the child. Now we lose everything. General Sauvel, standing tall, answered. They made their choice. We forced their hand. Across the galaxy, other alien species watched. Whispers spread. Humanity's power is beyond anything we imagined. Some prepared to flee. Others considered alliances with Earth. The galaxy was changing, and one truth was clear. To harm a human child was to invite total destruction. Velar Prime was burning. The once beautiful cities were now glowing red with flames. Smoke covered the skies like a dark curtain. The people ran through the streets, shouting, crying, trying to escape the destruction. But there was nowhere to run. Above the planet, the Sun Lancer hovered like a silent judge. Its powerful beams struck one target after another. Military bases, factories, communication towers. Each blast left nothing but ruins. The Velari tried to fight back. Their ships launched into space. Lasers flashed. Missiles flew. But the humans were ready. Hidden in the shadows, the black stealth ships moved quickly. They destroyed Velari ships before they could reach the battlefield. The humans controlled the sky. On the ground, Velari soldiers defended their homes with courage. But they were outmatched. Their weapons were no match for human technology. In a small village far from the capital, a young Velari named Nera looked up at the burning sky. Her family had lost everything. Their home, their friends, their hope. She whispered, "Why must this happen? We wanted peace." Her father held her close. "Because they protect what they love," he said softly. "We made a terrible mistake." Meanwhile, in the command center of the human fleet, Captain Rice watched the battle unfold on his screens. His face was calm but determined. "We are winning," he reported. "Velari forces are retreating." The Earth Council's voice came through the speaker. "This is the power of humanity's answer. But remember, we do not destroy without reason. We fight for those who cannot protect themselves." Captain Rice nodded. "Understood, ma'am. We will finish this quickly and save lives." The battle lasted hours. The Velari tried everything. Secret weapons, desperate attacks, calls for help from allies. But nothing could stop the humans. Slowly, the fires began to die down. The once proud planet was broken and silent. When the smoke cleared, the message was clear to all in the galaxy. Do not harm a human child. The cost would be total destruction, and humanity was ready to pay any price. Velar Prime was broken. The fires had cooled, but the pain was fresh. The once proud Velari people stood defeated, their world shattered by the power of humanity's revenge. But not everyone was ready to give up. In the ruins of their capital, General Saville gathered what remained of the Velari fleet. His eyes were fierce, filled with anger and hope. "This is not the end," he said. "We fight for our home. We fight for our future." The soldiers nodded, their faces grim but determined. They knew the humans were stronger, faster, smarter. But they also knew something else. Sometimes, courage could fight against even the greatest odds. In space, the Velari ships prepared for a final battle. They would not surrender without a fight. Their goal was simple: destroy the human command ship, stop the Sunlancer, save their planet. The Velari launched their attack. Ships charged forward, firing lasers and missiles. Explosions lit up the darkness. Captain Rice saw the threat. "All hands, brace for battle." The human fleet responded swiftly. Shields glowed. Weapons fired. The silent black ships moved like shadows, striking without mercy. The battle was fierce. Ships collided. Energy beams cut through space. The sound of explosions echoed across the void. Back on Velar Prime, the people watched the stars. The future was uncertain. Would their warriors succeed, or would the humans bring total destruction? Among the watchers was Lily's family. Her mother held a photo of her smiling daughter. "We did this for her," she whispered, "to protect her and all children." After hours of fighting, a decisive moment arrived. The Velari flagship was badly damaged, retreating. General Saville sent a last message: "We surrender. End this war." Captain Rice heard the message and ordered the Sunlancer to power down. The humans had won, but their victory was not without sadness. The Earth President spoke to the galaxy. "Let this be a lesson. We protect those we love, no matter the cost. But we do not seek endless war. Peace is possible, but only with respect." The war was over. Velar Prime lay in ruins, but the fires were dying out. Slowly, the planet began to heal. The Velari people looked to the stars, unsure of what the future held. Yet deep inside, they felt a new hope. Human ships still hovered above, not as enemies, but as watchers, guardians, reminders. The Earth President spoke to the galaxy. "We did not seek this war, but when our child was harmed, we answered. Now we offer peace. We will protect all who respect life. But never forget, we are strong, we are united, and we will fight to the end to protect what we love." On Velar Prime, leaders met with Earth diplomats. They signed new agreements, stronger, fairer treaties. Children played again in the parks. Markets reopened. Songs returned to the streets. Lily's family found some peace, knowing her sacrifice saved millions. Across the galaxy, news spread. Humans were not weak. They were fierce protectors. They were warriors of justice, and they would not tolerate harm to the innocent. Aliens looked at Earth with new respect, some with fear. But humanity had learned too. The cost of war was great. Peace was precious. Now both sides worked together for a future where no child would be harmed, where no treaty would be broken, where stars could shine brightly in peace.